Nintendo will never cease to amaze their wonders of how they want to reveal things. Star Fox just got revealed last night, and we were given a total of, 15 minutes of heads up before this thing actually aired, and it was a 15-minute direct about Star Fox, of all things. The way they did this direct was fascinating, to say the least, and I will make a whole video talking about what that means for the future of directs. But right now, we need to talk about Star Fox, the game. The game that is based upon the N64 Star Fox, which is basically telling us that this game is a remake with some extra bells and whistles. This will be the ultimate Star Fox experience for anyone to get into, and for series veterans to come back and play for a fourth time at this point, which, you know what? I'm not even gonna complain about that, because it looks so good, like unbelievably good. This game is stellar. I was literally at the movies watching Project Hail Mary for the first time with my brother. We were sitting there, and all of a sudden my watch, I looked through, it burst through my notifications, and it said Star Fox Direct, and I was like, there's no way. This is not happening. It was real. It happened, and I was literally watching it in the theater on the lowest brightness, kind of hurtling it towards myself, trying to make sure that there wasn't any light getting past. There wasn't really anyone there, but still, I wanted to be respectful. I'm looking at this, and I just can't believe what I'm watching. And the first thing I noticed, and the first thing many people noticed, was the new designs. And these designs, I'm not gonna lie to you, when I first saw them, I thought it was awful. I was so unsettled by these uncanny looking puppet-like thick designs to where I didn't know what I was going to think moving forward. Then I kind of simmered on it all night. I waited till this morning to make this video. I looked online to see other people's opinions, and so many people felt the exact same way that I did. Man, do these look gross. And then all of a sudden they keep watching and they keep watching, and it's like, you know what? This actually isn't that bad. And I think I sit on that side of the camp now. I think this is honestly the best thing that they could have done moving forward. Why? Because they could have absolutely taken that design from the Mario Galaxy movie, and it would have been really, really good. I honestly thought when I saw that was peak Star Fox design, and that was what they were going to kind of try to represent in the games moving forward. But then obviously we know that's not what they did. They went with this like more puppet style, more thick style of a design, especially with Fox. He just looks so wide. I don't know what it is. He just looks almost, I don't know if it's squished is the right word, but his fur just makes him look a little bit too together. And it's just a little uncanny to see when you first notice it. But I think now that I've gotten over it and I've seen it a million times, I think I really like this design. I think this is the way to go. And it's something that a lot of people were talking about with Donkey Kong as well. When he first got that redesign, we saw it initially in Mario Kart World. Now here we are with Star Fox. We see this is the future of Star Fox. A lot of people are going to be hating on it because of the Smash Bros. Design that we've come to know and love for literally the past like 2 decades of this series being dormant, not counting Zero, which is a terrible game. But still, I think that if Star Fox was going to come back, this was the way to do it. And boy, does it look great. You can say all you want about the design. You can say that it looks ugly. You can say that it's horrible, that it's the worst thing Nintendo's ever done, that it looks like an AI filter. I don't care what you think about that, because the game itself is undeniably incredible. It just looks so good. Now, the thing about it that I am a little bit worried about is that it looks a little simplistic. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, it does look very much like the bones of an N64 game in which they didn't have a lot of depth to go through. Now, maybe they just showed off some of the early worlds, and this is something that me as a Star Fox newbie, I'm gonna have to figure out going into it what it feels like, because that's going to be the biggest indicator to me on if this game and this franchise is going to succeed moving forward, is how does it feel? Does it feel like those other Nintendo games in which you can sit down and play it for literal dozens of hours at a time and just want to continue on because it feels so great? The locations look amazing, every single one of them. The water itself is just gorgeous. You can really tell that this game was made specifically with the Switch 2 in mind. Now, I was thinking to myself and telling my brother about this after we got out of the movie. I was like, is this the first game in which they genuinely built it from the ground up for the Switch 2? Now, that may be the case, but also, even if it is the case, The next game that we get is going to be an original game, right? Whatever, I'm looking for that next original game for the Switch 2, built from the ground up for the console. We've not gotten that yet, and I'm so excited to see what that looks like, because this is technically a remake for all intensive purposes. They just don't want you to think it is, because they want you to think this is the brand new Star Fox game. Go out there and get it. Don't worry about the past or anything else. Like, go get this. This is the entry point. But one way or another, this is the best looking Nintendo game of all time. It has just dethroned the war between Luigi's Mansion 3 for most people and Metroid Prime 4 Beyond for a lot of others. Those two games, in my opinion, were in contention for the greatest looking Nintendo game ever, and here we are. Star Fox has dethroned both of those, and in my opinion, it's frankly just not close. It's not close at all. If you watch these cutscenes, they look great. The designs of these characters look very realistic in the sense of how they're moving, and that's something that I don't know a lot of people expected Star Fox to take that approach, but I think that is the type of approach that they need to take for his style. From what I can tell of him and of these characters, being more realistic, a little bit more gritty, talking about the story of these games, this is where they need to head in terms of that direction, and this art direction is gorgeous. The worlds are awesome. The lava spaces, the snow falling places, even like the simple green plains and the dirt hills and rolls and everything like that, those things look as good as you can possibly get them to look. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about here is the time and amount of hours that you're going to be getting out of this Star Fox game. Now, it is only $50 digitally, $60 physically, but most of those retailers are matching prices for the digital prices. So if you go to Walmart, Amazon, most of them will match that $50 price point, so that way they don't fall behind in terms of sales and how many people actually want to buy physically. So pretty much it's $50 across the board. It's not hard to find $50 games anymore from Nintendo. Splatoon Raiders started that trend. Yoshi in that mysterious book also went for that. Here we are again with Star Fox. We're seeing a new era of pricing models for Nintendo, and it's getting cheaper and it's getting better. So here with Star Fox, the original game only took 1 to 2 hours from a simple Google search. 1 to 2 hours to finish. Now, this game looks to have elongated this process. It looks to have totally spun out this wheel of thread and how many different story beats there are. It has a lot of different cutscenes. I think this game is going to be longer. Will probably be closer to 4 to 5 hours, maybe 6, and with that prologue, perhaps 7 to 8, but still, that is very short. I think if this game is going to do well, it's going to need to let us know up front exactly what it is, and that's what they've been trying to do thus far. I think that this is the perfect direct to show us off this game, and we're probably not going to get much more than an overview trailer in a few weeks, honestly, because the game comes out in June. About a month from now, we will have this game on our Nintendo Switch 2s, exclusive to the console. So this game, what about it? It's just incredible. And even if it is that short, I don't think it necessarily has to be something that people complain about or think is just a horrible decision by Nintendo to remake such a short game. They just needed to get Star Fox back in the limelight, and they were able to do that by having him be in the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and then he took a pretty large portion of that movie's runtime, more so than Rosalina, which a lot of people didn't really like, but it fit well in my opinion. Then here on this Nintendo Switch 2, we're seeing a prologue, we're seeing a lot of different modes, like the camera tracking of Fox and Koizumi, having him look back and forth and everything go on with that is such an incredible incorporation for this hardware, and finally makes use of that camera in a way that actually makes sense. The camera has been out for almost a year and it has had 0 to no use, and that's it. If you wanted to use that camera, you had the Super Mario Party Jamboree game that had a horrible implementation of that. Those mini games were horrible, hot garbage. This is finally making great use of that. You have a bunch of different modes. You can play co-op, you can play online. There are different arenas in which you can kind of battle and go for high scores. Then there is a really, really cool mode with the mouse functionality in which you can use it to kind of shoot your way through. It goes to a first-person perspective, and then that mouse is able to use the controls to be able to aim. Then you have another co-op way in which someone can have one Joy-Con and then they're kind of steering the ship, and then the other person uses that mouse control to basically aim the turrets and aim where you're going to be shooting at. That's a great mode. They're just doing everything they can to make this a great selling point for the Switch 2 hardware. This is something that a lot of people are going to pick up and say, wow, this is really making use of this hardware in a way that no other game really is. And Star Fox has always done that, has always tried to do that. Even with the Wii U, Star Fox Zero, they tried their dangest to make the Wii U gamepad a big part of that game. it was a huge failure because of it, because the gimmick is just that, a gimmick. It is not great whatsoever. Then they tried with the original game back on the SNES, right? With that 3D graphics, and it just looked great. It pushed that console to its graphical limits. Moving forward, they had all sorts of different stuff with Star Fox to where they tried to tailor it to that console. Here we see on the Switch 2, the same exact thing. And you know what? I thought I wasn't going to talk about this, but you know what? I will talk about this. Nintendo Directs. What is going on with Nintendo Directs and what is going on with Nintendo in their planning models? This is weird as heck. Like yesterday, we just had 15 minutes at most to be able to prepare to watch a Direct. Content creators across the board were scrambling to make videos, to live stream the actual Direct itself. Many people didn't see it until it was literally too late, until it had already aired and been gone and they missed the boat. This is weird. Now, what do I think they're trying to do here? I think they're trying to take back the elements of surprise. I think that is what they're trying to do here. With all of the different leaks going around and Nate the Hate literally having revealed their entire 2026 schedule at this point, Star Fox was their way of saying, you know what? We don't care if you know, we're gonna surprise you and delight you anyways, because this is what they do. They want to make us feel happy. They want us to smile. And how are you going to do that? If you're a casual Nintendo fan, you're just going to see, oh wow, a live stream happening in 10 minutes. Let me tune in right now. How fun. Because that gave me a feeling that I have not felt in a long time with Nintendo Directs, in a long time with Nintendo, period. To have such a crazy shadow drop of a Direct. They have shadow dropped trailers, they have shadow dropped games, but never have they shadow dropped a Direct. The Switch 2 era has technically only had 2 Nintendo Directs. The very first one that announced this console and then showed us off a bunch of different games for it, including third-party stuff, and just was the big, this is what the console is, and this is a little bit of what you can look forward to in the coming months. Then they obviously had that September Direct last year in which it revealed some other stuff. It had Fire Emblem as the big closer, and a lot of people were just upset with the lack of first-party showings and the lack of big games that we had for the console. Moving forward, everyone thought that February was going to give us a big Nintendo Direct, that we were going to see all of these big franchises, hopefully a 3D Mario, something to kind of tide people over waiting for the next thing. And we didn't really get that. We got a bunch of random shadow drop announcements. We got a bunch of release date trailers for Splatoon Raiders, for Rhythm Heaven Groove, for all these other things. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. These games are coming and they're coming fast. Nate the Hate released his podcast saying, yo, this is going to have a bunch of different games here and there. Star Fox is going to get revealed in April, and then it didn't. And people were like, what's going on here? In May now, Nintendo says, you know what? Maybe they pushed it back for him. In May, they say, we're going to have a Nintendo Direct. It's going to be about Star Fox, and you're not going to know about it until literally 10 minutes before. And we're going to make it longer. We're going to make the Direct longer than the amount of time you knew it existed prior. That is insane. Is this the model moving forward? Are they simply just going to highlight all of their first-party games in the way they specifically want to? Shadow drop these games, shadow drop these Directs, and then just let the third parties figure it all out themselves? That seems like a model that would make a lot of sense for Nintendo moving forward, but at the same time, a lot of people would be very upset about it. I know content creators such as myself really do miss that Direct format because it provides so much to talk about. Like, I literally had 5 video ideas alone, 5 about this Direct after it, and that was only one game. Now, this is a little bit of a special case because it's been so many years since Star Fox, and there's a lot going on with this game specifically, but 5 different ideas, and I'm combining 2 of them here, the Direct talk and then the game talk. So this is what I have to say about these Directs. I think that we would be over-exaggerating a little bit if we were to say that Nintendo Directs are simply dead forever. I don't think that that is going to be the case. I think moving forward, they're going to do them more selectively and make them more jam-packed. I think they want it to be to where last September just doesn't happen again. They definitely do take into fan accounts and they take into how we feel about things, but at the same time, they also try to do what they know is best for them and just do whatever they want to do. They love to mess with us. That is something that I see all over the place right now. They just love to do crazy things. Like, why in the world would they do this without just trying to give us a little bit of a surprise? There's no other reason to do this the way they did it, especially considering it had already leaked, than just saying, no, we want to shock them. We want them to have their jaws on the floor and feel so excited. There's no other reason for that. And to be honest, all of this screams that they don't believe in Star Fox's ability to sell itself. They don't believe enough in Star Fox to put it in a regular Nintendo Direct alongside all these other games and then let it get the spotlight. No, they don't believe in that. They want Star Fox to be a big thing, and so they're making a huge PR push right now. He was in the movie, a movie that is going to cross $1 billion. It's already crossed 900 million. He was a big part of that movie and was really, really cool in that movie. So many people that have played Smash Brothers and that just know Nintendo's history, know who he is, and are now thinking more about him. Step 2. They then decide to make a game alongside of the movie because it's very clearly alongside. They definitely planned it this way to where the movie came out late April or in May, and then boom, right a month later, literally, they decide to say, here we are with a new game. This is what you're going to be playing. They wanted us to be shell-shocked at the announcement because of the movie, because of everything going on with Star Fox. So they said, you know what? Rather than even scheduling it, we're going to do something completely different. We're going to get people talking. We're going to do something we've never done before because we want people to at least talk about Star Fox in general. Even if they're like me, right, who doesn't have a ton to say about Star Fox and doesn't know a lot about the series, I'm still making a video about this because of how insane the circumstances are. And they know that. So if I'm talking about the circumstances, it's going to lead more people to thinking about Star Fox and then buying Star Fox. And then lastly, they just believe in the product so much to their own accord and in these circumstances that they really do think that people will want to give it a shot after all of those things happened. The movie, the crazy direct, and then boom, all these different features that you can play on the Switch too. People are going to want to be interested in this game, particularly at $50. You're gonna see a lot of people shell out the money to say, you know what, I'll try this. Certain franchises are just beloved by Miyamoto. Pikmin and Star Fox are probably at the very top, if not Mario as well. We know he loves Mario and created Mario, but those two specifically are always going to be given another shot because Miyamoto will always be there to do it. He had a Star Fox shirt with that really cool logo. I really hope they release that. That's a great shirt. And they just had so much hype going into it. He gave it over to Koizumi and was like, all right, buddy, here's the game, show it off, and then we're gonna talk about the movie, and he just gives off these like little kid vibes of I love what I do, and that's so fun to see. It's so contagious. It's unlike anything else in the industry. So Nintendo Directs, I don't think they're extinct. I think they're going to be much more selective, probably closer to around 1 to 2 a year, if not just 1 a year. I think we're probably going to see around September be that similar time frame. June is taken over by Sony's State of Play and Summer Game Fest, and I just kind of wonder if Nintendo doesn't want to associate themselves with them anymore, so that June timeframe that used to be such a certainty is now so uncertain. So Star Fox, he looks incredible. I think that the model could have a little bit of adjustment in some areas for some people, but I think we're going to get used to it. I think even with the renders that we've seen, he looks great in a lot of different ways. It's something different, and that's good. I'm excited for new. I'm excited for these graphics. I'm excited for the gameplay and to get into the series for the very first time. So thank you for making it to the end of the video. Make sure you like and subscribe if you did enjoy. Comment below so I know your thoughts and what you're thinking about all of this insanity. And then make sure you also consider joining my membership program just to support the channel. A couple bucks a month to help me out. If you like this video, make sure you click on the left side of your screen to see my video talking about how much I love the Nintendo Switch 2. And click on the right side of your screen to see my playlist of Zelda Tales Untold, a series in which I am going through every single Breath of the Wild memory and talking about that series story. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Make sure you have yourself a phenomenal day. This has been Ray's Nintendo Talk. I have been Ray, and I will see you all in the next video.